Hi beautiful souls, welcome to Elle's Temple. My name is Elle. I'm a goddess guide, tarot reader and holistic healer, and today on the channel I am very excited to be bringing you a special message from the goddess. It's being recorded around the time of the Scorpio New Moon and solar eclipse, but however the message itself will be timeless, so just trust if you're guided to this after that time, the message will be equally as potent for you. But if you are listening to it at the time of Scorpio New Moon, you can certainly use it to tune into the energies and see what guidance you might be given about what to release. Eclipses and also Scorpio season are a really powerful time to look at letting go of things that aren't serving you, releasing what's serving you, going through a sort of a death and rebirth process, and then calling in a new beginning for something that is for your highest good. So when I was meditating on the topics today, for today's reading, I normally pick cards to see what I'm guided to read about, and I got two cards for today. So we got Blessed Your Hope and Brandman of the Starlet Ostara, A New Beginning. And it's all about if you've been going through a difficult period in your life, how can you hold on to a sort of inner light and inner resilience and inner hope? Because right around the corner, just when the night is at the darkest, the dawn is about to dawn for you, and a new beginning is about to come through. Now this will be different for all of you. It is a general reading. Some topics are more about general healing, general growth, that sort of thing. Others are more to do with love and relationships. So just see whichever pile you're drawn to. You might be drawn to more than one because it might be that there are different aspects that you're either healing or releasing, and different elements of a new beginning you're calling in. So if you are drawn to more than one pile, that could be why, because they're all about slightly different things. But just see whichever card you're drawn to. So if you are drawn to this card here, Rewilding with Grandmother Moon, or the Moss Agate Crystal, you will be pile number one. If you are drawn to Goddess Artemis, She of the Wild, and her keyword is mercy here, or the Tiger Stone Crystal, you will be pile number two. If you are drawn to the Season of the Witch card, which is the second time this card has come out. I think actually two of these cards have come out before. We've had Rewilding and Season of the Witch in a previous reading. So they're popular at the moment. Season of the Witch, and the keyword is magic. So for those of you witchy folk out there, or being, if you're, whoops, I'm picking up the wrong stone. And this stone is an azurite, so it's very tiny. But it doesn't matter about the size. Size does not matter. It's a very powerful stone. Hopefully you can see the little gold glitters on it. Yeah, there we go, azurite. And the last but not least, if you are drawn to, I love this card, the Goddess Incarnate, Body Positivity. And your stone is this beautiful pink. Yeah, sorry, I'm just checking because there's my pronunciation. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, but I think it's Eudialyte. The Eudialyte stone, there we go. You will be pile number 4. So my lovelies, take a moment to pause the video if you need to and tune in with your intuition. Take a couple of deep breaths and ground your energy into the earth, so that you can really connect in with beautiful Mother Earth energy, so that you are guided to the right pile here today. And I will see you in your pile. Bye-bye. Hi there, pile number 1. If you chose the Rewilding with Grandmother Moon card, this will be your pile. So I've already got the oracle cards out for you, and then we're going to move on to some tarot cards that I have already pre-pulled. So my feeling is for you, pile 1, that you are going through a bit of a transition stage at the moment, or a bit of a I'm getting this juggling energy, and this energy of trying to decide something quite major. It's like you're at a bit of a crossroads. You're trying to decide between two different options, or you're being pulled in two different directions potentially. And there's something that you're needing to kind of balance out, or something that you need to let go of in order to call something that's a little bit more in alignment for you. And in order to do that, it's really saying, what are you feeling? Because I feel like with many of you, pile one, you are perhaps people who are usually used to making decisions with logic. With this contract card here, I feel like this is someone who perhaps works in a very official place, a formal place. You know, it could be corporate. You have some kind of corporate contract at the moment. It's sort of that kind of energy of almost like Goddess Athena, like that kind of strategic, you know, kind of almost like you work with a sense of like you analyze things, or just using logic or strategy or something in a sort of formal type workplace or something. And there's this need to, with the rewilding card, with Grandmother Moon, the idea behind this card is to kind of let go of where you've been tamed, let go of where you've sort of domesticated yourself, or tried to fit in with a conventional path, or go down a sort of logical path that you've been told that this is what you should do as a, whether it's as a woman, or this is what you need to do to look after your family. It could be even as a man. It doesn't matter what gender you are, or whatever, but just certain societal conventions that you've been kind of shunted into, I feel like. And I feel like you're going through with this timing of the cards that came out. And if you haven't listened to the introduction, basically I pull cards to decide the topic of the reading. And we had Yule and Astara. And I feel like perhaps through this Yule season, which is winter, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, we're about to go into winter. Through this Yule season, you're going to go through a period of rest and rejuvenation. It's very important to rest and to connect with your wild self, because the more you connect with like your instinct and intuition, and we've got with this Grandmother Wild card, we've got a wolf here howling at the moon. So it's like that wolf instinct. You need to reconnect with that part of yourself, and then you'll be able to decide what these options are. Because I feel like there's something like, maybe some of you are in a corporate workplace and there's a contract on the table. It's like you've been offered maybe an extension of a contract, or you've been offered a contract somewhere. But we've also got Isis here with sacred contracts. So I feel like it's like there's some kind of split that's happening, or some kind of pull that's happening between what is going on in the logical world or on the outside world, in terms of a sort of contract that you've been in, that you think you need to do logically, and something that is sacred to your soul that you feel. What do you feel? It's like a feeling, and it's not very clear. It's not very obvious on the 3D. It's not like anyone's come and offered you something related to this sort of soul contract on a 3D level yet. It's just a feeling. It's a sort of nebulous feeling. But I feel like with more rest over this kind of Yule period, or over winter, or over the next sort of, whenever you come to this reading, over the next kind of period, if you go through rest, you'll be able to rejuvenate and connect in with your intuition and trust what you're feeling a little bit more. It's like, it's interesting because we've got this woman here, and she's wearing what looks like, a tie and a shirt, like she's in a business outfit, but she's sort of loosened it. It's kind of like, oh, that's too tight. Like I need to kind of pull that down, and like, should I carry on with this apple job, or should I go over here and maybe try this oranges thing? With this sort of juggling energy here, and also with the scales, this could represent kind of finding a balance between these two things, between like your logical self, or your responsibilities in the like 3D world, in terms of like what you have to work out in order to put bread on the table and so forth, and a sacred contract that you feel coming through, that might not have fully revealed itself to you yet, but it's going to sort of activate within you. With these sort of sacred contracts, they tend to be things that it's almost like if you've made a soul contract before you came to earth, like at some point in your life, something will kind of kick into place and it will activate. And you might have been getting some nudges about that, but the more you connect with that wild self, that intuitive self, that instinctive self, the more you'll get clear on what that sacred soul contract is. And it may be, like I said, that maybe that you need to juggle both for a while. So for some of you, it could be that you're working in corporate and you've been doing really long hours and getting a bit burnt out, for example, because we've got rest and rejuvenation here. So there is a need to kind of just rest and rebuild first before you go into this next new beginning. So part of your sort of this part of the reading, the hope part, and the going through this sort of difficult energy during Yule is to rest. And in fact, I'm feeling called to put this here and this over here. It's like if you start with resting and recovering your energy and rejuvenating yourself, you'll get clearer on what you feel, and then you'll be able to step into what the sacred contract is. And like I said, you may need to juggle both for a little bit of time. It may be that you have one foot in one world and one foot in the other, so you might scale back your hours a little bit with, you know, this corporate job that might have been burning you out a bit, but then on the side you do something that is part of your sacred soul contract, that is some sort of project or a business or an offering or something, or it could even just be rituals or just something that helps you connect in with your sacred self and restores that part of you. And that will really rejuvenate you. It's like even though this other contract that you're sort of locked into is really sorry, I'm just being guided to put that in reverse. I feel like you are going to let go of what that other contract is eventually. So yeah, there's something to do with like letting a contract go. So it may be that if you're juggling whether to carry on with a contract that has been burning you out a bit, maybe eventually you will decide to let that go and go for this thing that is this sort of rewilding. And I feel like with rewilding as well, I'm getting a vibe of some of you are connected with something to do with, it could be something to do with nature. So this new contract, this new, say, direction that you're going to go in is to do with like nature and the earth and rewilding the planet and sort of eco things, like growing things, looking at eco-friendly, sustainable energy, that kind of thing. Maybe even like some of you want to do like homesteading or something, growing your own garden. Yeah, it's interesting, she's juggling fruit, so it could be like something to do with like, you know, growing your own fruit and vegetables. Just something to do with like being in the wild, or even some of you might be like camp like wild camping guides or something like that, like taking people out into the wild and showing them how to reconnect with their instinctual self. I feel like some of you might have been doing that as part of a retreats for yourself anyway, whilst you've been in this kind of corporate role or this more logical job or contract. You've on the side, to help restore and rejuvenate yourself, you have been doing this rewilding stuff a little bit, but it's kind of like saying this new beginning that's coming to you, this era, and Astara is spring. So I feel like this could happen for you whenever your next spring is, whenever you're listening to this. If spring is coming up, it's like that's the time, that's your new beginning, that's the thing that is your sacred contract that you have to go forth and do. We're going to have a little look at the tarot, because I think there were some messages in here that confirmed everything that was here. So we've got Madre of Earth, Creosote Bush, which is the Mother of Earth or Mother of Pentacles. So really gorgeous deck. It's got these beautiful sort of red Aztec-y type mountains in the background, and then lovely kind of yellow flowers. So some of you might be living in that kind of part of the world, or that might be part of what this sort of wild area is that you want to go on, that you want to go to rather. We've got Adelita of Air, Oregano, which this is the equivalent of like the Knight of Swords. And then we've got Cacao, the Hierophant, which came out in reverse actually. So yeah, and then we've got Two of Earth, Witch Hazel. Again, more juggling energy. Yeah, so I feel like this is really just backing up what these cards are saying, which is about the Mother of Earth, Mother of Pentacles. This is very similar to that grandmother wild energy. It's like, you know, you can see they're out in nature. There's trees, there's bushes, there's a mountain. She's making this offering to the earth with these beautiful flowers. It's this very maternal sort of energy. Some of you could be like getting back to nature in terms of like making medicinal things from like foraging or something like that. It could be something related to that you're being called to, that your sacred contract is for. I think there might be, one second, part one, there might be a message in, I'm just going to have a look in the Hercrafters book, because I feel like there's a specific, these cards are quite different from traditional tarot. As you can see, they've got different names and they've got very specific guidance. So I want to get, rather than just doing the standard you know, Queen of Pentacles energy, I want to specifically tap into where are we? Madre of Earth. There we go. Madres. Yeah, interesting. Be a guardian of the wild places. What did I say about like some of you being like a guide and going out into the wild, or into like doing sort of camping retreats or wild retreats or something? Build circles of women and share the medicine. Oh yeah, it's the Sonoran Desert. A woman travels deep into a canyon surrounded by the scrub plants of the Sonoran Desert before collecting medicine. Yeah, so again, some of you might be wanting to get into medicine making. She makes an offering to the land. She provides for herself and her community. She creates many remedies. She honors the land and gathers medicine. She is in good health and inspires others to the same with her grounded daily rituals. Yeah, I spoke about rituals as well earlier with the rest and rejuvenation and the sacred contracts, and there's this kind of move towards like seeing yourself and honoring your sacred vessel, and maybe that it might just start off with something small like rituals or something. Yeah, she too is considered a survivor because of her ability to grow strong. As a true guardian of the place, she learns from Creosote, the mother of all plants, how to enhance the lives of generations beyond her lifetime. She steadily supports her people as well as the animals and plants of the region. Embrace your quiet nature. It is the foundation of grace. Yeah. Lead a medicine walk in your community. Protect wild spaces. Share the medicine. Yeah, so I feel like with the Mother of Pentacles here, the Adelaide of Air, the Knight of Swords, Oregano, this card in particular is to do with like speaking your truth. There's a lot of blue here with the blue water and the blue towel and everything, and it's to do with like being really empowered to speak your truth, particularly as a woman, like your feminine truth, or just speak of, it can be regardless of which gender you are, but just speak you know, that feminine, from that feminine place. But in particular, if you are a woman, it's often to do with like where you've been suppressed, where there's some kind of rage or some kind of like yeah, just like I'm just getting this energy of like suppression, like something. It speaks of in the book with this card, it speaks of like if your vagina and your basically, it's to do with like your vagina and your throat being linked, and if one or the other is constricted, it will constrict the flow of energy to the other one. So it's kind of that like link between the sacral chakra and the throat chakra, and the sacral chakra having that like the openness and expansiveness and creativity and all the sort of like, if your creativity is honored and your feminine sensuality is honored, it's also linked with them being able to like express that creativity through your throat chakra. And I did pick up on the blue. So there's something around like unleashing something, unleashing your sacral chakra, unleashing your throat chakra, releasing some kind of suppression or some kind of self-expression that's been inhibited or been pushed down. And I feel like for those of you who have been connecting more with the logical side of yourself, and you've been in this sort of corporate type world or something, it's like there's something around your like yeah, your sort of like feminine power, or like, because this is a very sort of feminine. We've got that grandmother wild, the Marjorie, this Adelita, which is specifically like Adelita is the it's the feminine form of like the knight. Yeah, it's warriors, activism, drive, autonomy, um, and it's these cards are focused on remedies used for the young girl emerging into womanhood. Um, yeah, they represent the fight we often encounter when first defending our past to the outside world. And I spoke of that idea of like you stepping into a more wild sort of part. Like at the beginning when we spoke about this card, it was like to do with like where have you been tamed and where have you been sort of pushed down a conventional path or down a certain path. And it might be that there's a letting go of that needs to happen, and a release of those conventions, or that sort of those parts of you that have been tamed and pushed down. Because also with the Hierophant in reverse, like the Hierophant can speak of authority and structures and institutions and teachers and things. So, and with it coming out in reverse, it's like you're looking at expressing yourself away from this authority, away from the tradition, away from institutions and structures. You're wanting to walk away from that. And with Witch Hazel, Two of Earth, Two of Earth typically is often shown in traditional tarot. It's often shown with someone juggling two pentacles. So it's like trying to find balance, trying to juggle two things, trying to juggle perhaps two different jobs. But my feeling with this card is that with these little finches and the little yellow flowers, it's quite, it's more to do with like almost like providing sanctuary or finding a sanctuary in nature out in the wild, like even in the cold, even in winter, even when there's no growth anywhere else. It's like as a little bird, as this little finch, it's like you can find remedies in nature, you can find food, you can find structure. So again, I'm kind of getting this vibe of some of you being very good with nature. You're very good with the wild actually, and you know how to sort of navigate the wild. And if you don't resonate with that, then it's a call to kind of like step into that, because that's kind of where you'll find your power. Yeah, it's like that's where you'll create this little home that you'll eventually create, almost like it might be like, whether it's temporary things like little camping trips or little guidance, what being a wild guide for just short little visits, or creating more of an actual structure for people to come, like maybe it's like yurts or something, or some kind of like retreat center out in the wild, or sort of like longer term things where could be even teaching people how to forage for herbs and how to forage, because birds do that, don't they? They forage for what they need. Like even in winter they can still go out and forage little seeds and things like this to feed themselves. It's like you know how to do that, part one. Like you have that wisdom to like gather medicine and use it to help people. So, and I feel like that is your kind of sacred, with Isis and sacred contract, that is like your sacred contract that you are here to step into. And it could happen that over spring, that is when you start to step into this in a bigger way. And like I said, you might need to juggle for a little bit. And Two of Earth does typically speak of juggling things. So it may be that you do a bit of both. You have a foot in both worlds for a while, but eventually you'll give up that old life, that old contract, and step into this new, more like feminine, empowered, like Mother Earth energy, ecology, the wild medicine, wild camping, that type of thing, nature retreats, all of that. You're going to step away. I feel like with the Hierophant in reverse, you're going to step away from formal institutions, formal structures, It's not like you have that wisdom within you. It's not for you to need to do this through a traditional, form anymore. Okay, I feel like those are all the messages I have for you, pile one. Please let me know if this resonated in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all your likes and your subscribes. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when I next upload a reading. All the best with this Scorpio New Moon and Eclipse season if you are watching it at this time of upload. Otherwise, have a very blessed rest of the season whenever you're listening. Take care. All my love. Bye-bye. Hi there, pile number 2. If you chose the Artemis card, Artemis, she of the wild, mercy, and the tiger stone, this is your reading. So I'm going to start with the oracle cards that I've pulled, and then I've got a few tarot I'm going to finish with. So this spell was very interesting because the energy cards that I got from the energy oracle were attachment in reverse. And when I asked what you have been attached to, it came out with man holding a coin. Actually, sorry, no, it was the other way around. I got man holding a coin first, and then when I asked what this was in relation to, if it was to do with a job and financial things or something else, it came out with attachment but in reverse, which is like, it's kind of to do with where previously there might have been a period of being a bit perhaps codependent or chained to someone or something, or like very sort of striving to hold on to something, striving to control something. When it's in reverse, it's kind of letting go, surrendering, releasing, trusting in the flow of energy, trusting that things will happen in divine timing, etc. So this combined with Artemis and brave spirit and in the world, not of the world, it's a very interesting energy, pile 2, in terms of it may be that the difficult situation that you've been going through that you're releasing is this attachment to this person or this romantic connection, or it might not be romantic. This could be some other kind of connection or attachment. It could even be a work thing, but generally with this energy oracle card, this attachment is more to do with romantic relationships. So I feel like some of you might have you might have been in a relationship and now you're free. It's kind of the vibe I'm getting. It's like now you've let go of those shackles, or you're in the process of letting go of those shackles, and you're kind of free and wild and finding your free wild spirit and having a lot of, like, I'm seeing this period of like you being really adventurous. I'm getting this very like Sagittarius type vibe, like you going out exploring, you're traveling, you're finally doing all these things you wanted to do, you're being really brave, like your next sort of period after going through this difficult time, what might be coming through in Ostara in spring. If you're watching this when it's uploaded, it might be whenever your next spring is, or just more conceptually, whenever you've gone through this kind of dark tunnel, this sort of winter within your life, where you've maybe done the healing and you've done the releasing and you've done the letting go and the shedding and so forth, of whatever this was, whether it's some person that you were in a relationship with, or I'm getting a vibe it was like maybe an earth sign with this man holding a coin. It's like someone who was quite stable, someone where it might have been quite a commitment, or it might have just been someone who they were very kind of fixed, like they might have had a fixed placement, or an earth sign like Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, possibly. But that will just be for some of you. For others of you, like I said, it could be a job actually that you were really attached to, or has been sort of holding you down, and now you're free, and in this next period you're kind of free to go exploring. But either way, whatever it is, it'll be different for all of you. It's a general reading, so just take what resonates. The point is, the energy that you're moving into is just so different. It's so joyful and free and brave. I'm just sensing this like whole new era for you, where you're doing all these wonderful things you've kind of always wanted to do, but for some reason never done, because maybe the job you were in, you just never had the time off properly to go traveling and go and explore all these things you wanted to. Or the person you were with, they just never really wanted to go to those places, or they couldn't get time off because of their work. Because I did sort of get a bit of a vibe for some of you that this man holding a coin is like he's very work focused. So it may be that, yeah, you wanted to go off and do all this stuff, but like this person hasn't been able to. Or for some of you, it might be that like if you're, say, in a committed relationship, or you're married or something, and like it might just be that dynamic is shifting, and it's not that you've split up, it's not that you're releasing the commitment to them or the relationship with them, you're just releasing the dynamic of being codependent and needing them to do all these things that you wanted to do. You're just realizing like, hey, okay, they're busy, they're working, like that's fine, they've got other things, like, hey, that doesn't stop me, I can still go off and be brave and do these things on my own. I can be like Artemis and go off in the wild, and maybe you want to go camping, maybe you want to go traveling, exploring. I'm seeing some of you going, there's 2 cards here that have a lot of water energy. So I'm seeing some of you like going to the sea. This could just be like going on vacation on your own, or with friends even. Like, with this mermaid card, she looks really like happy, and she's like, hey, like I'm seeing with this little cute like pose she's doing with her hands, like it's like you going on holiday somewhere beautiful, like it could be in Europe or something, with the kind of the old buildings in the background. These kind of look a little bit, they remind me of like somewhere in Italy, but it could be anywhere. And like you in the sea, and like you've got a friend who's like taking pictures of you, and you're like, hey, like you look really cute in your new bikini or whatever, and you're just like having so much fun. I'm just getting this like energy of like, oh, from this so dark and gray and like held back and held down to this, which is just like absolutely, you're glowing, you're absolutely glowing up, you're really tapping into your joy. I feel like if you haven't considered going on vacation to somewhere with water, or you don't live somewhere near water, that this card is kind of saying that will bring you some joy to do that, to really like connect with the element of water and go somewhere where there's water. If you can't afford a vacation or something, it's not to say like, just go off to Italy and like, just go like, on some lovely lake on vacation, and you're sitting there going, well, I've got kids and I've got responsibilities, and I don't have any money to do that. It's like, just work with that energy in whatever way you can access. I totally get, I've gone through periods of not having funds to travel. Sorry, spitting on the cards there. And it's just about kind of finding joy in whatever way you can. Like, even if it's going to the public baths or the public swimming pool, or like wild swimming in the lake once it gets a little bit warmer. Because obviously if you are in the Northern Hemisphere, we're about to hit winter. So it might not be swimming in winter. Or maybe it is, maybe that's the bravery. Like, it's like, those crazy people who go swimming in, and they do that, is it like that Wim Hof thing, and they like go swimming like cold water or sea swimming at like 5 a.m. or something crazy in winter, and they all look just like crazy happy because they're all their endorphins are flowing, and their circulation is flowing. And I can see some of you sitting there completely groaning as I'm saying this, and don't worry, I would be with you, because I hate that kind of thing. I hate being cold, I hate the water, I'm not a very good swimmer, so I would just be like completely with you on that one. But you get the idea. It's like, don't do anything completely crazy if it's totally out of your comfort zone, but just the idea is to kind of like get out into wild, get out into nature, connect with the water. The element of water is very powerful. It's like there's this energy of like the elementals, the elemental spirits, like in forests or bodies of water or whatever, are very like powerful and kind of guiding you at the moment. With this in the world, not of the world, this kind of confirms essentially what all of this is saying in terms of the she of the wild, brave spirit, finding your joy. Because the message in the guidebook with in the world, not of the world, is like, in fact, I'm just going to read most of it, because this book by Alana Fairchild, or this deck, the Sacred Rebels Oracle, is so in depth and so eloquent. And I usually find that when I do readings for clients and I include these cards, the messages that come out when they read the message directly, they're like, that's exactly what I'm feeling, kind of thing. Like that, it's just so powerfully accurate. So anyway, It is safe for you to become naked with life. This doesn't necessarily mean stripping off and running wild in public. It does mean stripping back your beliefs, strongholds, and mental or emotional security blankets so that you can live with less obstruction than ever before. Yeah, we spoke about this attachment being a bit of a emotional security blanket, which I think you're letting go of. So that could be sort of a codependency or a like reliance on someone to like do things with or like check with almost before. I'm getting the vibe some of you feel like you have to check with this person. Maybe some of you are younger and it's like a parental thing. Or almost like you've still, even though you might be grown up and you've left home, you've still got that like parental figure within you as an inner voice where you're like you're sort of attached to home somehow and you feel like you need to ask permission to kind of do anything. So it's like kind of breaking free of those like emotional security blankets. So imagine the conditioning that has kept life away from you, just kept it dropping out of your hands like keys, coins, or clocks. Conditioned beliefs about money, time, security, having, locking away, holding, and controlling can be surrendered and allowed to fall away. What would it be like to feel as though you were on holiday every day? Oh my goodness, what was I saying about joy and going on holiday and feeling like you're on holiday? And even if you can't go away right now, because if money doesn't permit, just still find little ways, like go to your local river or like build it into your life in little rituals in some way. So perhaps there would be a softening in your way with life, an implicit trust in its flow, and a faith in the ability of time to bend and stretch as needed so that all may be accomplished. It is at an advanced stage of our spiritual relationship with life that we are able to feel held within it sufficiently enough to surrender our defenses layer by layer and to nakedly accept what is. This oracle comes as a message to you. Sometimes we need our defenses. At other times, it is clear we are outgrowing them. There is something you have outgrown. Could be this person, could be this dynamic, could be this job. It has to do with your ideas about productivity, time, control, and money. It has to do with abundance, trust, and living with the fundamental belief that everything is going to turn out okay. You are ready to be much more vulnerable and exposed in life. You don't have to hide behind being organized, perfect, in control, or financially secure and stable. Yeah, that could be what this is talking about, actually. This could be you. This could actually be releasing an attachment to this guy within you, this sort of provider figure who needs to be organized and perfect and earn money and financially secure and stable, and like, oh, one day when I'm retired I can go and find joy and go on holiday, but I've got to get my ducks in a row. I've got to like, control my finances right now. I've just got to work. And you've kind of been in that sort of attached to being in a bit of workaholic energy, but it's like it's saying like, it doesn't necessarily mean like give up your job. It just means maybe give up a bit of the control around that. So carrying on. Nor do you need any other acceptable social face. It is time for you to loosen the strings of your own controlling nature. They are too tight and too restrictive for you anyway. You were born to live in a much freer way. Yeah, Artemis, she of the wild. You're meant to be wild. You're meant to be brave. When you live as you innately are rather than how you have been conditioned to be, you will experience greater joy, freedom, and support. When you are not resisting yourself or resisting life, there is less resisting what you need as it comes to you. This message is that you are shedding. It might be an identity. It might be a status symbol, such as a car, home, suburb. It could even be associated in my relationship. Wow. Yeah, we spoke about this being maybe a person who's quite like high status or something. Yeah. You are shedding because no matter what the appearance of of things, those old forms were too constricting for you. It is almost like your spirit was trying to walk about in shoes several sizes too small. They were starting to pinch, the seams were ripping, and eventually they would fall apart completely. Etc., etc. It kind of just goes on saying about you being guided to trust and rely on your life and your inner knowing, and provide, like, eventually once you let go of things, it provides space for fulfillment to come forth, which I just think is this joy. It's like these two energies, they're just so beautiful. Like, look at this, what you're moving into. It's just like this total freedom. Look how like the posture of this woman in this card, the way her head's thrown back and she's just in the water, like woo. And even this one, like, yay, I'm on holiday, I'm having so much fun. You know, it's that. It's like finding joy in your day-to-day life, even if, you know, you can't sort of go off on an exotic holiday or anything just yet. I'm going to quickly go into the tarot. However, I do kind of feel like the tarot cards are just, now that I look at them, and now that I've actually channeled this, because I don't necessarily know what the message is going to be until I start channeling and recording. But now that I'm looking at these, it's like, oh yeah, they're kind of just completely backing up everything that's saying here. But I'll give you the tarot cards anyway, because we all like them, right? So we've got Nymph of Wands, which is equivalent to, this is from the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot. Nymph of Wands is equivalent to the Page of Wands. Yeah, Page of Wands. So, you know, going off on a journey. Again, Page of Wands can speak of traveling, taking that first step towards some adventure, being optimistic, exploring, trying something new, taking the initiative to, like, you know, just try a creative hobby, a passion. You know, Wands are to do with like that fire energy. It's that passion energy. You know, what lights you up, what sparks you. This woman's holding a wand that's lit up. So it's just that energy of you know, finding what lights you up, really. And it looks like she's in, is that water? I'm not quite sure. I think she might be in kind of like a river there. So again, bodies of water, but just being out in the wild. You know, she's got all these bushes behind her, similar to this Artemis card. We've got the universe. Yeah, again, this is the world card in traditional tarot. And the world card speaks of travel. It also speaks of the end of a cycle. So this could be to do with this, like closing out this, releasing these old thoughts, ideas, controlling ways of being, small ways of being, this relationship, if it is that, for those of you who are going through a breakup, or you know you need to let go of something stable, maybe with someone that isn't really serving you anymore. You know, the world card can speak of completions and closing cycles out. But I feel like it's, for most of you, it's kind of more to do with just getting out, taking that step with Page of Wands to get out in the world and travel and see things and explore and be brave. And, you know, and you don't need to necessarily, like, I know some of you might not have the means to do that, but like there are ways you can kind of travel, you know, on a shoestring. So maybe it's just like, you know, looking up, you know, travel books or people on YouTube or whatever who have managed to travel on a on a shoestring budget, if that's something that you really want to do, but money's been holding you back. But for those of you where you have been like attached to money and working hard and building and like saving and like needing to hold tightly to your finances, it's kind of the message of like, just let go a little bit, like maybe go with the flow a bit more, use some of that money to like bring some joy into your day-to-day and like explore the world and get out there. Like, don't stay in this little box really tightly. We've got Warrior of Cups, which is the Knight of Cups, which, you know, this can speak of like a romantic offer, like someone offering you a cup, but I feel like this is the universe offering you something that makes you happy. Through taking that initiative to go exploring in the world, you're going to find your happiness. Again, it's cups, happiness, fulfillment, etc. And we've got joy here. So it's about finding that within. Again, we've got fish. Look at this. 3 cards here, which have the water and fish. We've got a salmon jumping out here. We've got all these same, oh, sorry, I don't know if that's salmon. It's some kind of fish jumping out of the water. I just assumed it was salmon. It might be salmon. We've got fish swimming here. And then we've got a mermaid here. So bodies of water, definitely. It could definitely be saying, if you're thinking of moving somewhere that's near the water, or at least visiting somewhere near the water, that could make you very happy. Being near the water could be quite healing for you and bring you a lot of happiness and fulfillment. And then we've got the moon. Yeah, it's interesting because we're going into new moon in Scorpio, and the moon can speak of like illusions and things that are hidden. So I don't feel like in this case, the vibe I'm getting, like she's looking pretty happy in this dress here, and Interesting. There's like a dog. One dog here that looks like a domesticated dog, and one dog here that looks kind of like a wolf dog. I think it's kind of like, speaking of that, what we were talking about when I was reading the message from the In the World Not of the World card, of like kind of freeing yourself from those shackles, from that sort of domesticity, which is a very similar message to pile one. So if you were drawn to pile one as well, there might be some guidance in there for you too. But yeah, it's like you have both natures within you, but it's kind of like honoring both of them, and honoring the moon, which speaks of like the maternal, the mother, intuition, receptivity, instinct, that whole side of things. So it's like you might have been operating by logic before, and especially for those of you where this is you and you've been attached to your work and sort of needing to do things in a certain way. This is kind of saying like, we are all cyclical beings, and we are all affected by the moon, and connecting with the moon and the moon cycles, and that maternal side of yourself, that instinctual, intuitive side of yourself, that's going to be very powerful for you. Are there any other messages, Spirit? Have I covered everything? I feel like that might be everything. Sorry, give me a second. I feel like there's something else on the moon card. Yeah, again, she's standing. There's land behind her, but she's standing in water. So there's something this whole side of the reading is very water. It's like you're going from being on ground, on land, and it could be that you're a fixed sign actually. So when I spoke of at the beginning, this chap being someone you were with, this might actually be you. You might be a fixed sign, and you might need that stability and groundedness and that like earthiness. But it's like you're moving, even if not literally, to a place that has a lot of water. You're moving metaphysically, or like metaphorically, you're moving into an era in your life as part of this new era you're moving into in spring. That's more go with the flow and more trusting, surrendering, going with your intuition, going with the moon cycles, like being pulled with the ebbs and flow of life, like surrendering to your intuitive side, to your emotions, to what emotionally fulfills you. Knight of Cups. How can you offer yourself like a cup of something that's going to emotionally fulfill you and satisfy you? And it's something that like, this is going to evolve as you let go of what you perceive or what you think your life should look like, or like all those like sort of very Capricorn type things, those kind of status and money, and I need to do this by the time I'm 30 or whatever it might be. As you let go of all of that and surrender to your like wild nature, and surrender to like, and explore and get out and do what you're passionate about, what makes you happy, it's like this new life will evolve, but it's kind of hidden. It's like you're not being shown everything now because and you want to know, but you have to go with the flow to see, to like, for it all to be unveiled, for it all to evolve and to see it. But I do see you. I just love this card. The energy on this card is just gorgeous. I do see you ending up like this. Like just this total. It's like you're going to be like mermaids are like, they have that energy of like they're the guides to the ocean. Like they're the, the sirens kind of thing. Like they're just so at home in the sea. And it's like you're going to end up being so at home with that like feminine, receptive, intuitive side. And also just so happy, like joy, is going to be a big part of your life. And you know, recognizing like the living more from your spirit. I feel like with that in the world, not of the world. It's like you're not just in the 3D world in terms of like worrying about survival things and finances and like, you know, these very 3D sort of things, or work or status or whatever. It's like you're going to be in that led by your spirit, surrendered, and it's going to bring you so much happiness. I do see that for you very soon. I feel like you're really releasing this mask that you've had to wear, whether that's, like I said, whether it was in a relationship or for work, and you're getting out into you're connecting with your wild self, and you're getting out there. It's interesting, like you might be meeting someone as well. You might be meeting your counterpart while traveling, because I feel like these two cards, they've both got these like well, this is a wand and this is a bow and arrow, but it's just, there's something about their energy that's like really matching, like even their face shapes and their tunics. They've got those like crisscross, like the Greek tunics, and they're just both really like, they're out in the wild. There's loads of like nature all around them. So it could be like something, there could be someone that a counterpart that you meet. That would just be for some of you, but yeah. I'm going to leave it there, pile 2. I feel like that is all the messages I have for you today. So I hope that resonated for you. Please hit the like button if it did, so that it tells the YouTube algorithm that there's something here that you like, and it will share similar content with you and other people. And also hit the notification bell if you're already subscribed, so that you'll be notified when I upload another reading. Leave a comment if it resonated. I love to hear from you. I love to see how these readings resonate. Otherwise, thank you so much for being here. All my love, all the best with the Scorpio New Moon, and take care, and I'll speak soon. Bye-bye. Hi there, pile number 3. If you chose the Azurite Crystal and the Season of the Witch Magic card, this will be your pile. So I'm going to start with the Oracle cards, which I've pre-pulled, and then we've got a few tarot to finish off with. So for you, pile number 3, I'm getting quite a few different messages. So there might be like different groups that have different things going on, because for one strand of you, I picked up very strongly that some of you are going through, in terms of the difficult thing that you're going through at the moment, it's related to emotional healing. And what you're moving into, your new beginning, is related to manifesting or drawing in or attracting a relationship. So your healing is related to sort of emotional healing, in terms of it could be some inner child healing, but perhaps healing from past relationships and so forth. And your new beginning that you're trying to manifest your new beginning that you're trying to manifest and magnetize is what I'm getting. But especially for those of you who have like a manifestation practice, like I see some of you like journaling, you're scripting, you have very specific manifestation processes that you use. If you don't already, this could be a sign to do that like if there is something in your life you're wanting to attract, if it's a relationship or something, because I definitely got that vibe straight away with power of attraction here. It's like there's something, it's interesting, both these cards have this beautiful bright light here. It's bright yellow light here and here. So this is linked with, the third chakra is to do with the solar plexus and being very confident and shining your light out into the world. So it could be that the person that you're trying to manifest is a very confident person. They could be a Leo as well. The third chakra is linked with the astrology sign of Leo, having that sort of confidence and inner strength. It's connected with the sun. But I feel like this is more to do with, Okay, yeah, what I'm getting is like it's more to do with like you stepping into that space of like really radiating your light and shining your light. And as you do so, you will attract and magnetize whatever it is that you want to towards you. And like I said, for some of you, that is a romantic relationship. And for others of you, it's more to do with like you're just stepping through these doors towards your personal healing and happiness in general. So it's a less specifically tied to a romantic relationship or partnership, and just more generally tied to a happier future. Because with Mother Mary and emotional healing here, there's and you can see there's tears coming down. It's like there is some healing that I feel like you've been going through, or you're in the process of now. Perhaps with this reading I mentioned at the beginning, if in case you didn't listen to the intro, that I pulled two cards for the topic of the reading. One was Yule, hope, and the other was Stara, a new beginning. So I feel like if you are in the Northern Hemisphere, and if you're listening to this at the time of upload, the period of difficulty that you're releasing through Yule time, or before, just after Yule, or around sort of winter, there is some kind of like emotional healing work to be done, because it comes spring, your new beginning is this door to personal healing and happiness. And it's interesting because this is a very spring like picture. In this picture there's all these like flowers and like spring blossoms and everything here. So this is waiting for you off the back of this emotional healing work, and all the things that you're working to manifest with that magic card, and all the sort of journaling and scripting. And like she's sort of sitting in a safe circle, and she's got crystals and candles and all these things around her, specifically manifesting something during this sort of witchy time, which again is this sort of Samhain, Yule, kind of, the sort of season of the witch is very much that, like there's the pumpkin behind her. It's kind of, Halloween or Samhain, or like that kind of time. Sorry, I think I pronounced that incorrectly. Then I was thinking of how it's spelled. I think it's Samhain, isn't it? Apologies. With safe space here, I feel like this is you during this time creating this safe space to go through this healing that may need to be done, so that you can manifest what you want. It might be that nature is a very safe space for you to go and do that healing work. Trees might be very healing for you. I also feel like for those of you who were wanting to manifest in a relationship, this new connection that you're scripting and manifesting in is a safe space for you. So if you have been hurt in the past, if you have had to go through some emotional healing because of something that hasn't been safe, because of something that's maybe been a bit abusive or just unsafe in some ways, just not emotionally, you haven't emotionally felt validated or emotionally felt safe. I'm getting I'm definitely getting something. I can feel it, because I don't very often have clear sentience, but occasionally I get it in readings when I'm doing these kind of collective readings, and I'm picking up very strongly a strong heart chakra pain. So there's definitely some heart chakra healing, which, I should have got that because there's a lot of green here, which is linked with the heart chakra. So there might be some heart chakra healing that needs to be done. So we've got both the heart chakra and the third chakra, the solar plexus chakra, which might need some healing as a result of a past hurt, to do with a past relationship or a past, even like family or something. But there's some kind of emotional healing to be done, something to be released through this period this difficult period that you're going through now, that's the work that needs to be done through. And I think this is sort of now, if you're watching this when this is uploaded, this is kind of Halloween time. It's like this is you kind of sitting in this safe space, in this circle, creating this, like, you know, she's created like a pentagram around her, which is like a protection. And then she's kind of doing her work there, doing the sort of healing work. I'm going to move on to the tarot because I feel like that's all the messages I've got from the guidance cards, and we're going to get some more from the tarot. So we got Queen of Pentacles. This is from the Everyday Witch deck, which I love, which is very appropriate considering you got Season of the Witch. So we've got Queen of Pentacles here. We've got Two of Pentacles. We've got the Death card. Yeah, letting go, releasing. Very appropriate as well that it's Scorpio New Moon coming up. If you're watching this around the time of upload. And new moons can have the potency of the energy is available up to sort of 4 to maybe even 5 nights before and after. Usually it's, you know, most powerful the sort of 2 nights or so, but it can be, especially with a powerful new moon like this one with the eclipse and everything going on with Scorpio. So yeah, there's definitely some cutting away. And we've got the Empress card. This is gorgeous. This is very similar energy actually to this Nematoma safe space. They're both in nature. There's a tree behind them. Both wearing these beautiful dresses. Yeah, this is you coming into your Empress energy, I feel like, as the viewer. And Six of Cups. Beautiful for those of you wanting to attract a soulmate relationship. A very like nurturing, caring. You can see this person's like giving her flowers. It's like very supportive. It's like quite nostalgic. It could be someone, it could be that you're reconnecting with someone, a childhood friend or something. It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. This could just be reconnecting with an old friend or someone who, you know, you had a lovely friendship with or connection with at childhood. It's that sort of innocence. Like you have a sort of childish, innocent connection. But I'm still getting a strong heart chakra vibe. There's definitely some healing that needs to be done. Now, it may be that some of this healing happens within this new relationship. So for those of you that are trying to manifest a new relationship and attract someone new, because it says door to personal healing and happiness, it may be that by going through that door, you are able to do the emotional healing work as a result of being in this sort of Six of Cups soulmate connection. Sorry, these were the other way around. I think. Yeah, so there's a lot of earth energy here. Queen of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles. We've got 2 earth cards, 2 pentacles, and then the Empress, which is quite earth energy. It's very Taurian energy, very Venusian energy. And then we've got Cups, which is like, you know, it could be a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces with those. With the Queen of Pentacles here, it feels like for some of you, you're kind of already in this Queen of Pentacles energy in the sense that like you might have a lot of material security and stability, or like just your job or your home life or that sort of side of things is taken care of. You can see she's got like a treasure chest with a lot of money there. So even though you might be sitting there being like, well, I don't have loads of money, but like you might be quite abundant in certain ways in terms of like you just are able to attract a lot of abundance to you. You know, maybe you have a lovely garden, or you have a lovely home, or you know, you even if you don't hold on to money a lot, you're able to attract it in through something but there's some sort of energy of like you're quite a grounded, practical, stable, secure person already. And I feel like, yeah, okay, so it's like there's a balancing act that needs to come in between that side of things and this sort of Empressy Six of Cups, like feminine emotions, the receptivity, intuition, the sort of water energy of cups, like feelings and love and emotional vulnerability. It's like you haven't, with that safe space card, it's like you haven't really been in a safe space to do that before. And now with Nematoma here, it's like now with this relationship, or with this, as a result of this healing, you're able to come into that Empress energy and manifest in and just receive and magnetize in, because that Empress energy is very like, it's quite different from Queen of Pentacles energy, or even say like Magician energy, or any of those type of cards, Emperor energy, in that she receives, she magnetizes what she wants. She doesn't need to sort of go out and get it, or make it happen, or work for it, or do sort of like do active magic for it. It's like she just gets into a certain state of being, and then she just magnetizes it to her. And I feel like that's kind of the state you're getting to with this, the way this girl is sitting here, Season of the Witch, and she's just sort of, she scripted things, and then she's just kind of smiling quietly to herself, like, yep, that's me, like I'm just going to manifest this in. But like without doing anything, without going out and trying to make it happen. It's like, for those of you that are wanting to being in a romantic relationship, you're wanting to attract something, it's like you're going to magnetize it or attract it, not go after it, like not go and make it happen in the way that you would with, say, going to make work happen, or money, or like sort of other stability and things in your life. It's like you're going to, yeah, you're just going to sort of magnetize it in. With the Death card here, it's like there's an ending that needs to happen first, though. There's something or someone, there's some kind of past hurt or past pain, something that ended, that perhaps ended badly, that some, yeah, okay, I'm getting it now. There's some kind of cords that need to be cut. It's like there's still a cord, even though most of the rope is kind of pulled away, there's still the I don't know if you can see very well there, but there's the like tiniest thread that's still connecting this cord between perhaps you and another, and that needs to be cut. So you may need to do a cord cutting ritual. Yeah, it's like it's in your heart chakra, or some kind of heart chakra healing or clearing. That could be very useful, or even just creating a safe space by going out into nature, connecting with the trees, doing like a water ritual, whatever it is that you do. I feel like if you're drawn to this pile, chances are you are quite sort of witchy already, and you already have a lot of like your own rituals or your own sort of things that you do. But there's something around healing whatever this past thing was before you can move into this like Empress energy and attract and magnetize in this kind of new life that you want, this beautiful Six of Cups safe relationship that's like this beautiful lovely soulmate relationship. or if it's not a relationship, just this general, like this new spring, this new happiness. It's like you're not going to be able to, I don't want to say you're not going to be able, it's not like you're never going to be happy unless you cold cut. It's not that. It's like part of this season, part of this Scorpio time, and I feel like for many of you, you are listening to this around this Scorpio new moon. You know, part of the Scorpio energy is regeneration, and it's death and rebirth. It's releasing and rejuvenating into a new form. So, you know, it's using that energy to like let go of things that, you know, old ways of being, old relationships, old connections, things that haven't worked. Now, this could be if you're sort of thinking, oh, I don't really have anything like that. Maybe you haven't had an old partnership or something that needs to be released. This could just be something within yourself, like an old way of being within yourself, an old identity, an old like just some general, you know, some general healing with Mother Mary and emotional healing. It could just be like, you know, healing wounds from childhood. You know, it might not be anything to do with a romantic relationship. It might just be to do with wounds from childhood around, you know, things you've been told about what would make you happy. And it's like very much to do with, this is about like finding your own, figuring out what that is, but then manifesting and magnetizing and attracting in what your specific happiness is, or your specific, what the kind of relationship is that would make you happy. I'm just being guided to the Goddesses, Gods and Guardians book from Nematoma. Yeah, I'm just going to read the guidance message. Become quiet and listen, for Nematoma is leading you into her sacred grove. I'm bringing you safe and sacred space, she says softly. I'm going to hold the card up so you can see it as I'm reading this. Your scattered and uprooted energies want a place to call home, both within and without. Do your best to make your dwelling a haven for the soul, no matter how small or temporary your living space may be. If your home hasn't felt secure, call on me to help. Your aura, which is your psychic safe space, can be sensitive to everything to which is exposed. When it gets overloaded with the weight of the world, retreat to your sanctuary. Meditate and ask every energy that's encroaching upon you to gently leave. Protect your boundaries without guilt. Is it time to find emotional safe space with a therapist or healer? Yeah, I definitely feel like for some of you that might be the case with Mother Mary, emotional healing, and then this message about possibly finding a therapist or healer. It might be that there is some healing work that needs to be done in order to like let go of something that hasn't made you feel safe. Safety is very important here. To carry on, sorry. A secure container for processing your feelings may be just what you need. I may soon lead you to powerful sacred sites where ancient trees, stone circles, or outside temples provide a changing encounter with the divine. Sanctify your space and put down roots. You belong here. And the invocation is, with Nematoma's blessings, I create healing sanctuaries. Whew. Yeah, I feel like with both the third chakra, Archangel Chamuel, and we spoke about the heart chakra. I think both your heart chakra and solar plexus chakra need some healing, which will help you to open your heart to love in the future, and also shine your light in the world in some way and find your like true identity, your authentic identity, and shine that out. But I do feel like for you, pile 3, there is some kind of emotional healing work that needs to be done, or some kind of cords that need to be cut, or some kind of container that needs to be held for you to help process some feelings and release something. There's something that's kind of holding you back. That's maybe blocking you from manifesting and magnetizing in what it is that you really dream of. But I feel like sorry, pile 3, I know I'm speaking very slowly and there's a lot of stops and starts with this channeling. And I feel like I'm feeling a really strong, very sad energy in my heart, which I'm picking up from some of you. So I feel like some of you have really been going through it. So I really feel for you. There's a lot of you that have been in this like quite sorrowful energy. I don't know if you can see she's got sort of tears running down her face. So it's like you, and this could be even from not like an old pain, like it's not even from something recent, it's just sort of a purging that your soul is kind of doing at the moment. But I really want to encourage you. I want to leave it on a good note, because I know we've talked a lot about like the death card and healing and therapy and etc., and these quite heavy topics, and I can feel the heaviness in your energy and in your energy field. But what I want to leave you with is, because this is meant to be all about with this blessed Yule, it's about hope. Despite going through a difficult time, how can you find that light in the darkness? It's like, despite having to go through this sort of death, this loss, and this might even be, you might have been through a literal death in terms of like, not you personally, obviously, but a literal death of a loss of a person in your life. So you might be grieving, because I'm picking up quite a strong grieving energy from someone. That could be very specific just for someone, but this ending, or this sort of old heart pain or healing that needs to happen. It's like once you get through that, it's like once you do that sort of shadow work, so to speak, and then bring those, integrate those parts of you that have kind of been suppressed because of this healing work that's been waiting to happen, then all these like blessings and things are going to come in for you. It's like you're on, this door is waiting, these beautiful doors are waiting for you to step through into this gorgeous garden. There's a rainbow here. And a rainbow comes after it rains, which is like after the healing, after the crying, after the purging. You know, the sky is like, you know, raining is like the sky's way of crying, right? It's like purging and cleansing. So there's a purging and a cleansing and a releasing and a healing that needs to happen. But on the other side of that is your happiness. Your happiness is waiting for you. And you'll see this beautiful rainbow. And I know, I feel like I can hear some of you kind of crying at the moment. So I'm so sorry. I don't know what it is exactly that you've been through, but it's been very heavy, very sad, very upsetting. Maybe I'll read the message from Mother Mary as well, because it might be quite comforting for those of you who have been really going through it. Where is it? Mother Mary, release ancient pain, listen to the child within. Yeah, I thought for some of you it might be an inner child healing that needs to happen. So I'm not going to read the introduction, but she does say she represents unconditional love and empathic listening. She gives us permission to cry our tears and process our feelings. This clears us out on a profound level. Yeah, what did I say about rain and the rainbow and clearing? This clears us out on a profound level, helping us become less reactionary and influenced by our wounded inner child. Symbols associated with Mother Mary are the colors blue, halos of stars and flowers, including marigolds, Madonna lilies, irises, and violets. So some of those flowers could be useful for you. I'm hearing as well, for those of you who do Bach flower remedies, or those sort of homeopathic flower remedies. There might be like a flower remedy that could be very useful to help you process this, like inner child healing. It might be one of those ones I said, marigolds, lilies, irises, or violets. So maybe look those up if you're into that kind of thing. So the message from her is you're entering a cycle of profound emotional healing. Your body, heart, and soul can no longer bear the heavy burden of unprocessed grief and sadness, which can be both ancestral and of this present lifetime. Mother Mary leads you to a sacred pool. As you enter the water, the energy may unlock an outpouring of emotion. It's healthy to allow this release within a safe container. Yeah, nematoma, the safe space. So that could be, in the forest or somewhere in nature. Having space for your feelings to be compassionately witnessed and validated is essential for you. So again, that's kind of reiterating what nematoma said about like the possible having your feelings held through therapy or something like that. Mother Mary will bring this experience in real life professional settings. In miraculous ways, the right therapists, healers, and practitioners will materialize. Seeking help to heal your heart is a brave step, yet deep down you know you've reached an emotional impasse. You can't continue holding in the suppressed energy anymore. Something has to give. Mother Mary wraps you in unconditional love, holding your inner child close. All your feelings are safe and welcome. Additional meanings. Your physical symptoms will improve as you heal suppressed emotions. Just listen to a friend's feelings without trying to fix or resolve their problems. Bereavement or grief counseling will help you. Yeah, I did pick up a kind of bereavement and grieving. But again, this might even be, if it's not like an actual, like a physical person in your life that you're bereaved by, it's like grieving a death to your inner child. Maybe some of you had some sort of, could even be narcissistic abuse as a child, or some kind of strong emotional abuse which really suppressed your solar plexus chakra and your ability to be your true self. And so part of the grieving and the therapy is to kind of bring that inner child back online and heal your inner, not back online, that's a terrible phrase, but like back to life kind of thing, and honor your inner child. And that was sort of the death that happened, was like your inner child's been hidden. Yeah, I think for many of you that might well be. And that Six of Cups could be like this innocence and like, because Six of Cups can speak of like childhood home and nostalgia. And this person here giving these flowers, it's like that's you as a grown-up giving flowers to like your inner child, like hearing your inner child out and being there for them. So that's just for some of you. Some of you it might be literal bereavement, someone that you know has actually passed away, and you're needing to have those feelings held and processed, and have someone really listen to you as you grieve and go through that grieving process. But for others of you, it's a more internal, it's like creating a safe space to listen to your inner child. And it may be that you can do this on your own through, if you've got a connection with deity, you can kind of connect in with the goddess, particularly if you're, maybe some of you are religious. If Mother Mary came in, it could be some of you have an old connection with Mother Mary. And you're able to connect in with her and ask her to help you heal. Water could be very healing to help you purge those emotions. But yeah, the other thing was give yourself unconditional love. And the invocation for Mary was, Mary, hold my hand as I cry healing tears. Lead me to the perfect spaces for processing my emotions. Which is very similar to nematoma, with like, going out into the sacred groves, going into perhaps the wood or the forest. And yeah, that's all the messages that I have for you today, Pile 3. Thank you so much for being here. All the best with your healing journey. Please leave a comment below if this resonated for you, and take care. All the best. Bye-bye. Hello, pile 4. If you picked the Goddess Incarnate card or the Eudialite crystal, then this will be your pile. Okay, so for pile number 4, what I got through for you guys is, I feel like for many of you, something that you've been struggling with that you're letting go of, the difficult period that's coming to a bit of an end, is some issues around body image and being in the body of a woman in particular. It could be that some of you, if you're a male, you might have body image issues as well, but I'm picking up mostly people in a female body having issues with body image. And it's like, even though you can see with this picture here, even though this woman is quite slim, when she looks in the mirror, she's unhappy with how she looks, you know, she's unhappy with her weight maybe, or her figure or something like that. So some of you may have been really struggling with issues around body image and eating and treating your body as a sacred vessel, and also with the Kadesh sexual wisdom card here, it might be also related to issues around sexuality, or like sexual intimacy, having issues with sexual intimacy, and it may be that's to do with like something in the past that has caused issues with that, or caused a blockage in that area. So there's some kind of healing and releasing that needs to be done around, you know, seeing, sort of re-embodying your goddess self within you, and seeing yourself through the eyes of a goddess rather than looking at what, you know, what's default. I feel like some of you might have been looking at social media quite a lot, comparing yourself with others. It's like you sort of don't like or trust the kind of feminine or womanly or like sexual parts of yourself, like you've kind of through some kind of social conditioning, or through like social media I'm seeing, or even some of you, it might have been through negative conditioning from within the home, or from people at school, or just society in general, you know, just the media and things. It's like you've suppressed that seeing yourself as the goddess you truly are, and like seeing your body as a gift, and as very wise, and as able to like communicate, with you about what's good for you and what's right for you. It's like your body and especially your like your womb, and your, as a woman, your like all your sexual organs, everything, like they all work together to like communicate and give you signals, and give you this sort of wisdom of like what is good for you, what is healthy for you, what isn't healthy for you, who is good for you, who is healthy for you, you know. I definitely, one thing I picked up when I first pulled these cards was that some of you may need to do a bit of healing and clearing of the sacral chakra, which sort of covers like your sexual organs, and your ability to give and receive pleasure, and your creative pursuits as well. It kind of, your sacral chakra also looks after that. So it's very important to kind of honor that part of you. And I feel like for some of you, with this thinking woman card here, it's like that aspect of you's been kind of blocked or locked away or shut off, and you're just not in touch with that part at all, or you see it as bad, it's been shamed in some way, or there's something, maybe some sort of negative sexual history that's sort of within your cells, because this Kadesh card can often speak of like needing to do like a cellular cleanse, like cleansing out your kind of because your body like stores every experience that it's had. So if you've had any kind of negative sexual experience or something that's left you feeling, you know, less than as a goddess that you truly are, then there's some kind of clearing and healing that needs to be done around your sacral chakra and releasing any kind of past sexual partners. There's plenty of videos on YouTube around like cutting cords or like doing releasing processes around healing those parts, particularly like healing your womb, because you, as a woman, you store every like sexual experience or every bodily experience within your womb space. So even just like putting your hands in a like position like this upside down triangle over your womb and breathing into it and connecting in, and then asking through your breath to release anything that might have been like potentially traumatic or a negative experience for you, or even by having a bath and then asking the water in the bath to like drain, as it drains out, to like release anything negative or toxic that's been held in your body. Little rituals like that can help to gradually energetically shift things that have been stored in your like cellular memory. But it might be that if you've got a big block around like your body or using your body or feeling comfortable having like sexual intimacy with someone or something, that it may be something a little bit deeper, like some kind of sexual therapy, or therapist who can help. I'm hearing like a body somatic therapist or something, like, so someone where they do some kind of like gentle I guess it's like gentle sort of therapeutic movement or something on parts of your body, and then that can help kind of just unlock where there's some like cellular memory or something that might have been held in a certain part of your body, to release it. But I feel like once you're able to do that, and once you're able to come into a period of positivity around your body and celebration around your body, and really loving your body as the vessel for your soul, and feeling really like comfortable in your female body and comfortable owning your sexuality and your sexual nature and your sensual nature, and tapping into your like sensual energies, your like, this is very sort of sacral chakra energy. It's very like, she's got very kind of Queen Beyonce kind of energy, this goddess card, I feel like. And once you're able to do that, that will allow you to like have the kind of intimacy that you're yearning for. Because I feel like with Pile 4, some of you might already be in a partnership and you're going through these issues and you're kind of struggling with them already, and you're already in a connection, and it's something that you kind of need to work through in order to like harmonize the relationships, harmonize your relationship with your partner. But for others of you, you're wanting to call in a partnership and you're really yearning for that, and that is around the corner for you, because the new beginning that you have is about, whoops, if I can pick it up, goodness, here we go, Mary Magdalene. Sorry, this palace isn't too familiar. Mary Magdalene's Sacred Marriage and Apollo Divine Messages. And this card is all about kind of following like little divine messages and synchronicities and things that get sent to you. So I feel like if you haven't met your person yet and you're really yearning for that kind of very intimate relationship, with Sacred Marriage here, Mary Magdalene, this is saying like that is available to you. There's a reason you're yearning for that. There's a reason that you're wanting that. But there's just this little bit of healing around kind of your self-image and your body image and your self-esteem and your like seeing yourself as sacred, seeing yourself as a goddess, being really powerful in your like, I'm seeing with this bracelet on her arm, there's this kind of serpent energy. It's like seeing your Kundalini energy, which is that Shakti life force energy, as like a good thing, not a bad thing. I feel like for some of you it's been kind of shamed or suppressed or like demonized or something, which is what happens in most societies because of patriarchy. We're not going to go into all of that now, but you know, that serpent thing, I mean, it's the story of like how Eve was portrayed, you know, and you know, as the snake as being like negative, whereas actually the serpent is symbolic of Kundalini energy. It's just life force energy, it's creative power, it's, you know, that sort of Shakti life force, sensual, creative, you know, it's wands energy. For those of you who know tarot, it's that, you know, passionate energy. It's very important to be able to like tap into that, so you can, you know, for many things, but even just for like, if this isn't about a relationship, just for having any kind of creative project, is, you know, if you've got that like spark, that passion, that life force, it's like you can tap into that energy to like, you know, do your hobbies and like tap into things that you're really passionate about and enjoy them. You know, joy and passion and all that is all linked with the sacral chakra. So there's a lot of that sort of orangey energy here. So there's a lot of maybe some sacral chakra healing that needs to happen. With Sacred Fool and the Thinking Woman, this card talks a lot about like letting go of constraints and you know, going with what lights you up and what, you know, brings you joy, and going with your intuition, and kind of saying, you know, screw society, screw what they think, like what do I want, you know. You know, it's very similar to the Fool card, the start of the archetypal journey in tarot, where the Fool just steps off the cliff and he's just like, you know, I've got to go this way, this is what my intuition's telling me, you know, this is what I've got to do. I might look foolish to everyone else, but this is what I really want. And I feel like you're going through a period of kind of maybe not listening to what you've been taught. This woman is, she looks like she's in like a university type setting here, and it's like very sort of institutional, and she's got a book and it's like, well, this is what society says and this is what I've been taught and this is what I'm expected to do. And it's like with the Sacred Fool, it's kind of guiding you to like go with what lights you up, go with your heart. That's where you're gonna be able to manifest the things you actually want. If you haven't got a family, then, and that's something you're wanting to manifest, and this is very much a new beginning that's available to you, this sacred marriage, happy family, and you will receive messages about that, you'll receive guidance about that. It's like you'll be, I see almost like your spirit team or your angels like guiding you like to specific places to like meet this person, or giving you like little whispers of like things that you should do or places you could go or something like that. But there's a real need to kind of like get out of the thinking brain and into this like kind of full energy of like going with the flow and going with what you, things that you actually love doing. Yeah, your heart is a wonderful, powerful, sacred fool. It cares not for the right way to do things. It cares not for what the mind says is real and not real. It lives according to an inner wisdom that cannot be dictated to or controlled by anything. It loves, it lives, and it is what it is. This oracle heralds a time now or imminent when you will feel inspired, alive, and passionate for what you can offer the world. Yeah, passion. We spoke about passion with that Kadesh card. The sexual wisdom, finding your passions, finding what lights you up. So it says to you, don't try to be appropriate, don't try to be socially acceptable and worry about what others may think about what you are doing. Just be. If you want to wear a mad hat whilst doing so, fine. The sacred fool in you is willing to leave behind what has been because it no longer feels right to stay attached to it. The sacred fool in you trusts life completely. It would never occur to this part of you to try and outsmart life or resist its flow. It recognizes that the mind is a monkey puppet on strings. More often than not, it is cajoled into fear when it could be playfully dwelling in this radical spontaneity of life. So the sacred fool in you urges your mind to let itself be pulled into joy by your heartstrings, not into fear and doubt by the controlling machines of mass media. Wow, yeah, we spoke about media with this body positivity card. I feel like for many of you, you might be feeling really controlled by sort of programming and conditioning that you've received from and may continue to receive from either the media or like social media in particular. Maybe you're very stuck in that kind of comparison trap of like what everyone else is doing, or comparing how you look to how other women look or something like that. I was really saying to like move beyond that and find what is right for you. Yeah, this oracle brings you a message. It's time for you to play. It's time for you to let life happen in a completely unreserved, unscripted way. The more bizarre, left of field, unexpected, and apparently ridiculous, the better. This might not feel safe or appropriate at first. That is okay. That is good, actually. It is a sign that you are breaking with your own self-imposed conventions. It is time to move beyond them now, because a bigger life adventure is calling to you. This is wonderful news. It is the desire of life to operate more radically through you, so that you become the conduit through which miracles and crazy wild synchronicity, which is also confirmation of this card, because this divine messages from Apollo was all about synchronicities and being guided towards like crazy synchronicities. So there's a lot of synchronicity that's going to be coming to you the more you can sort of embrace that like unconventional full part of yourself and follow your passions. So yeah, it also says you're becoming more electric. You're more plugged into the apparent randomness of life. Apparent because there is a refined intelligence behind it all. The sacred fool goes with this without having to understand any of it. As you take this journey, you might find that people around you are challenged. You might unintentionally cause them to rethink the way they live their lives. They may question whether the way they are living is the only way for them, or even the best way. At first, they may react rather than take responsibility. The sacred fool in you doesn't engage with this. It is what it is, and it rises and falls as it will. It doesn't stop you from your merry dance of unconventional being. Yeah, it goes on to say kind of more or less along the same lines. But yeah, the tables will turn and you will gain great inner freedom and creative juice, which again, the sexual wisdom, sacral chakra, creative juice is getting those going. Stay on your path, stay on the journey. Remember to take nothing too seriously, and it will all work out perfectly. Yeah. I've got pulled some cards from, this is a Witch of the Normand oracle as well. So we'll get some more messages from these. So we've got La Clé, which is equivalent to 8 of Pentacles. Key. We've got La Faux, which is like the Jack, which is what, the Knight of Pentacles. Card number 10. We've got Le Talisman, the Ring, which is the Ace of Wands. We've got the 8 of Cups, the Full Moon card. These all going to fit. I'm not sure if they will. And Les Boules d'Amour, which is the Knight of Cups. So for those of you who are, I have to move these over so I can fit them all in. For those of you who are looking for a romantic relationship, as we spoke about with Mary Magdalene and sacred marriage, if that's what you're yearning for, I am here to tell you that your new beginning that you've got coming through is definitely attracting a soulmate person, a partner for life. Because with the ring there, it's like it doesn't have to be someone you'll necessarily marry if that's not something you want, but it's a committed partnership. It's a long-term committed partnership. It's someone that you might have a family with. That's definitely, you're on track with that. And with the key, this is to do with like, again, synchronicity, intuition, like creativity, like being guided. You know, it's like being given the key to something, like doors opening for you, random synchronicities happening, like things just falling into your lap. So that's on the way to you. But I think with this card here, because this is a little bit like the death card in traditional tarot. It's like the scythe, you know, it's to do with like cutting things away that aren't working. There is something that needs to be kind of cut away, and I did feel like that with the Kadesh card and the body positivity. It's this sort of old attitude of like how you've looked at yourself, whether it's to do with like some kind of healing from past partners, or healing from, you know, some kind of traumatic or toxic experience that you're sort of storing within your cells, or even just healing your body image, like how you talk to yourself even, you know. It might just be healing a pattern of, like, you know, how your own self-esteem and how you speak to yourself and how you perceive yourself. But before this can come in, there's kind of a cutting away of something that needs to happen first. That's part of this like difficult period that you're going through. But once you go through that, then all these things can kind of come in and open up to you. This committed partnership with the ring. And again, this might be, if you're not looking for that, or you're already in that or something, this could just be more like a commitment, a newfound commitment to yourself, to your true self. It's some kind of commitment. It's some kind of like new beginning. Ace of Wands there. Yeah, it could be as soon as the full moon. So we've got the new moon coming up on the 25th. So the full moon is, I can't remember the exact date in November, but it might be when the full moon happens that could, I mean, the full moon is a good time to do some clearing actually. So, you know, I feel like maybe moving this around, putting those two together, because I feel like that kind of bubbles of love and the Knight of Cups coming in is like potentially, and this is over the Sacred Marriage card as well with Mary Magdalene. That is available to you. This Happy Family card is available to you, and that is on its way. But there's just some healing around how you speak to yourself. Mirror work could be a very good thing to do, like actually sitting in front of the mirror and kind of acknowledging yourself, but speaking to, instead of like looking at yourself in the mirror and being like, oh, my skin is looking crap and my stomach's fat and like kind of negative self-talk, actually doing the opposite, like sitting in front of the mirror and saying things to yourself that you would like to hear from someone else, like creating like a positive relationship. But yeah, maybe cutting something away or releasing something around the full moon, or even around this new moon eclipse, because it's a powerful time for release. There might be a message. I think there might be a message from Mary Magdalene. Let me just see in the book. Yeah, it says here. Yeah, so it's another message about sort of clearing and healing sexual stuff. So clear the vibrational imprint of past lovers through energy work. Yeah. So there's definitely, for some of you, there's something to do with that before you can kind of call in this new partnership. So I'm gonna read for some of you. If you don't resonate with that aspect, then it might be that you have your message. But if you resonate with what I mentioned about that sort of sexual imprint healing, you might want to listen to this message. So Mary Magdalene, Sacred Marriage. You are your own twin flame. Spiritual wholeness leads to new experiences of intimacy and love. Mary Magdalene was the author of a gospel and chief apostle to the disciples. She has roots in Gnosticism, where she's worshipped as an aspect of the Holy Sophia. Her ankh pendant signifies her role as priestess of the Egyptian goddess Isis. Mary holds the Shekinah flame, the feminine aspect of God. She presides over the twin flame union, a self-knowledge journey that brings higher consciousness to partnerships. So for some of you who've been trying to manifest your twin flame, this could be a sign that that's the type of soulmate relationship that you are calling in. But if not, then it's just a higher consciousness, like a high vibrational, committed soulmate partnership that you've got, that's available to you. So the Temple of Magdalene is a space for deep spiritual and sexual healing. Your soul has an ancient connection to this temple, and memories of the twin flame union are now being stirred. As you awaken the holiest feminine and masculine energies inside your heart, you'll be working deeply on yourself and awakening to your soul's light. This process can span many years. Your healing journey is about becoming whole. All your life you've been preparing to create a relationship that reflects that inner wholeness. It's not a partnership based on image-driven ideals of perfection, nor is it based on patching up each other's wounds. And again, something to do with that message about image. We spoke about image and body image with that body positivity card and the goddess incarnate. So a strong message around releasing like images and ideals and things. It's a conscious relationship in which both people take responsibility for their own lives and soul growth. Mary says, before you can experience sacred marriage with another, you need to come home to your own inner twin flames. She gives you a red rose, her symbol of the beloved, to signify that you're choosing the sacred marriage inside yourself first. In perfect timing, you'll merge with a partner who reflects your own completeness. Trust that your heart knows what it's doing to build a synergetic experience of true love that leads the world to higher consciousness. And the invocation is, I am whole and complete. I'm ready to create a sacred experience of intimacy. Yeah. So I feel like for many of you, you are wanting to, call that in, like a sacred marriage, a twin flame relationship, a soulmate relationship, some kind of intimate relationship that's not just, short-term gratification. That's something a little bit more lasting and nourishing. But there's a little bit of healing work, a little bit of just, clearing that imprint, clearing that vibrational impact that particularly anything toxic from the past might have left, and particularly also your own image of your body and your own self-talk and how you perceive yourself, and really like embracing your own goddess nature and seeing yourself as like a vessel for the goddess. Being very discerning, and just trusting the kind of messages and synchronicities and guidance that you get, because it will guide you to this connection if that's what you're calling in, if that's what you want. Also, I'm being guided to say with Sacred Fool, because this came up about like not listening to other people and kind of going off on the unconventional path. It might be that this relationship, this sacred marriage or this twin flame thing might be, as is often the nature with twin flame connections, it might be quite unconventional. So it might be quite different to what your family or society would expect. Those types of relationships tend to break down normal sort of conventional patterns of things like that. So it could be that it's a different sexuality from what you, or different gender from what you would normally go for. It could be an age gap. It could be you could be from completely different cultures, different faith. They're usually quite challenging relationships. So there's a lot of like obstacles to have to overcome to be able to come into union. But it's all designed to like help you grow. Like the message said, it's about like growing that wholeness from within, finding that balance of masculine and feminine energies and healing from within first, being the twin flame for yourself, or being the soulmate for yourself. If you don't resonate with the twin flame journey, don't worry about it. Just ignore that specific aspect. That's just a label, it's just a type of a soulmate. But if you're just wanting to call in a long-term partnership or a long-term soulmate, like someone who, you have an actual heart to heart or soul to soul kind of relationship with, then that is absolutely available to you. There's just a little bit around like cleaning up your self-talk, your body image, your feelings about yourself, self-esteem, maybe and for some of you, a sort of some kind of sexual healing around something that might have happened, some kind of imprint that might be held in yourselves around something that was uncomfortable from your past. It may also be that kind of happens as like already organically within this connection, that will just organically happen. It's not to say like, oh, you've got to go out and do 10 years of healing work and deep therapeutic work with the therapist and wait and wait and wait until finally you're perfect and you've healed everything before you can even meet so much as meet someone. It's not saying that. Sometimes the biggest healing work you'll do is within a connection. You know, it's within relationship, because relationships are mirrors, so it can hold. You know, for some of you, you might indeed already be in a family. You know, you might already have a family. You might already be in a partnership, and this healing work can happen whilst you're in that partnership, and in fact transform that partnership. Make it more conscious, you know, the more, and also just more harmonious, and more, you know, the type of relationship you might actually be craving. The better your relationship is with yourself, the more you see yourself as a goddess and worship your body as sacred, and tap into your sensual energy, your sacral chakra, your creativity, your passions, your passion for life, passion for yourself. You know, then that gets reflected back to you. So, you know, wherever you're at on this journey, whether you're single and you're trying to manifest a soulmate or a twin flame, or you're already in a partnership, either way, you know, you can do this kind of healing and clearing of anything where you've been like negatively speaking to yourself, or have a negative self-image, or some kind of I'm hearing like that I can't think of what the phrase is. It's like a comparison. There's a phrase for it. It's something to do with like getting stuck in like a comparison loop, like constantly comparing yourself to others. And it's like that part is like never going to be satisfied. You know, there'll always be, because those kind of body trends and stuff, they change. You know, one season it's like, you know, being really skinny, and then it's being, you know, like having sort of big boobs and a big butt, and then it's back to being really skinny, and then, you know, like it just changes and changes, and it's like you're just sort of caught in this trap of like, what does society want of me? What does, you know, I need to look more like this celebrity or this person, or they look perfect, they must have everything because they look like that. But like, that's not, you know, that's not necessarily the case. You know, you've got to find that like self-love within, and that ability to like look at yourself and see yourself as a goddess, no matter what the trends are on the outside, or like, you know, what other people look like. Like, you are beautiful and lovely as you are. You're sacred. Your body is a vessel. Like, don't, you know, that is part of the programming, is to see, especially for women, is to get stuck in that you know, that constant cycle of like needing of self-improvement, like to our bodies, and like needing to change things, and spend a lot of money on self-improvement things, and like surgery and all that kind of stuff. And it's like all that energy could be put towards, you know, other things, creating, you know, a passionate life for yourself, like doing things that you're passionate about, you know, tapping into that kundalini energy to fire up your life. You know, yeah. But it is coming. It is coming for you. This new beginning. It is absolutely here. It's in all of the cards, both the oracle cards and the tarot are showing that commitment, that long-term relationship, that soulmate. But it comes down to you creating that within first, and you being that for yourself, and being that person that you want to attract in, being that for you first, number one. Like, you know, the relationships that you have on the outside are reflective of, you know, their mirrors. Like in this card, she's looking in a mirror. They are a mirror. So how are you talking to yourself in the mirror? Because that's the kind of relationship you'll get. If you're saying very negative things to yourself, you'll end up attracting, you know, a partner who will say negative things to you. You know, you don't want to sort of, it's like it will just reflect back how you feel about yourself ultimately, you know. So it's really important to kind of clean that up and clear that up, and like, you know, get your self-image and your self-love to a point where it's really a strong foundation for you, and then everything else will flow from there. This partnership, this family, life, all these things will flow out from there. Okay, my lovelies, so that's all the messages I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the support for the channel. Please leave a message below if this message resonated. I would love to hear from you. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and the notification bell so you can be notified of when I post another reading. All the best with the Scorpio New Moon season, and take care, and I will see you in the next reading. All my love. Bye bye.